Welcome, happy Monday, everybody. Hey, Mother Nature, do you know where we are now? I heard last night that we're going to get 10 to 20 inches. SNS weather chasers, or is that what they are? SNS?
SNS. Yeah.
Storm chasers. Storm chasers. I saw his Facebook Live last night, and he was serious. It was all business. So we'll see. Whatever. We'll see. I'm not too convinced about it. Oh, so, daily, we're going to start our daily book of sarcasm. Today's on feelings. And feelings, something you didn't know you had until you cried at the end of Rocky. Come on, that movie gets me every time. Right here. So, we're getting going. And, oh, look at that, I did it again. I messed it up. You think I'd have it down by now. Devin's shaking his head. So, I was thinking over the weekend, there's been a lot of consternation in the country. And, I think one of the epiphanies that I had is that we tend to label everything. And that demonizes something or not. And, we have domestic violence, and we have gun violence, and we have animal violence, and why don't we just call it violence, right? Why don't we just stop putting labels on it and call it for what it is? I mean, we're all humans. It's all part of humanity, and it goes even beyond that, right? Especially when we get into the workforce. If we just stop labeling, that's today's topic, and it just drives me insane that we have all these labels, and why don't we just call it what it is? We're human beings. So, it came to me. I was putting together a proposal to do some customer service training, and it's really about the mind, right, and the mindset and the language and creating that experience and all that, and all of the fundamentals that we do and teach are applicable. Now, there's some specifics when you get into the mechanics of it, and we can cover that. That's no problem. But the mindset and the ability to be a leader is paramount, right? Because it's really leadership training that we're looking at. And I thought it was interesting as I put it together that I haven't done this in the past, that's really what we should be training everybody to be. Because leadership is not about a role, it's not about your position, it's not about your title, it's about being congruent with your words and actions. And if we can strip the labels off and say, like, hey, look, we can be congruent in the service industry and manufacturing and whatever it could be, but it all comes down to that and how we think. And if we come back to the world, like, it's all partisan, right? You have Republicans and Democrats, you have various cultural and ethnic, we're all people, right? And we assign labels to things and titles, and it'd be really nice if we just came back and embraced our humanity and our ability to see the best in other people and to empower them to be the best. And I think it's why I no longer watch the news or anything like that, because it's always slanted, and it's always to put somebody down to build somebody up, and that's not leadership, right? That's not what we as human beings should be doing. We should be lifting everybody up, regardless of their stature or their skin color or whatever. So, my challenge to you this week, and my challenge to all of us is how do we see through these labels? How do we see, whether it's at work and you see a janitor or you see a vice president? I mean, do you treat them differently, or do you see that they're both human beings and should be treated equally? It's just what we should be doing, right? And if you look at the uber successful and the people that are at peace with themselves, that's what they do. They see the humanity in everybody. And so, my question with the footsteps, we're seeing if anybody is entering the building. I think that's just downstairs. But the question that we have is how do you see people? And do you see titles? And do you change your actions because of that? Are you demeaning to some people and not others? I mean, it's kind of the whole do you watch Undercover Boss?
I used to. I haven't seen too much recently, but
Yeah, it's always interesting when I watch that when they're, you know, they think this guy's an idiot and he's the CEO,
Yeah.
and then they're
can't mop the floor properly.
Right.
But
Yeah,
signs
but-
your paycheck.
right, exactly, and so that's really what we need to look at. You see a guy that's living in a van down by the river, you got to treat him differently than the mayor, or you get to see the humanity in them, and it's just really kind of a sobering thing when we do that, because we've all been conditioned by society to do this, and some of us, that's all we do and that's all we know, and others see the person behind it and their God-given ability, and that's the challenge I'm calling all of you out on today is for the week. Let's see if we can do it for a week and see if you notice that, right? Because if you become self-aware that you're doing it, then you can correct it. So let's just review what we're grateful for this week. Or this morning I woke up and one of the things that was really cool this weekend, I had a great weekend. You had a great weekend. What'd you do?
A lot of nothing.
A lot of nothing.
Gym, video games,
Just
Netflix.
Getting the Netflix pump on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So I had a little disaster in my yard this weekend. That was funny for all of my pals that'll be watching this. We're doing some boat building, and we danced on the edge of a disaster. It was good. So no children or pets were damaged or injured in that. And I did have to send my son back a couple hundred yards while we lit something on fire. That was fun. I think the wife rolled her eyes a few times at that. We got some boat building done, so the Starmada group is coming together, with our retooled Starcraft. So that was fun. Got my son involved in that, and then he was hysterical because he took a couple pieces of wood and made his own ramp for his matchboxes, and I thought that was pretty innovative. So, I was just really grateful to spend time with the kids this weekend, and my wife made a fantastic meatloaf dinner last night. I don't know why she doesn't make that more often, because that was delicious. I'm kind of wondering why I don't have a meatloaf sandwich today. But maybe it's for leftovers for tonight, so I won't give her any static. Let's see. We went to the Church of the Open Door Sportsman's Night. That was great. Got to learn about coyotes. Coyotes are an interesting animal. They've migrated.
I was gonna say, share some facts.
Coyote facts. Well, first of all, I'll dispel some myths that I remember. First of all, the Pennsylvania fishing game did not stock coyotes in Pennsylvania. I guess that's a big thing. They're a natural. They're progressing from out west and from Canada, and the coyote just consumes habitat, and they're very they habitat well with humans. That's why you see them all over the place. And the gentleman, it'll come to me, it's Steve Sorensen. He's a wildlife writer, but he was saying about how on Facebook and things that people are like, oh, I found this puppy. And they have it, and the one, they had a list of comments underneath it where the people were like, please come claim your dog, it's getting hostile towards the kids, it's a wild animal. The coyote was bred with the timber wolf. So that was an interesting fact. So they used to be a lot bigger. They used to be 60, 70 pounds. Now they're in the 40-pound range because they bred that out. So that was cool. And my kids cleaned up at the, they do, where they put the ticket in and they pick numbers. What's that called?
Like a raffle?
Raffle, thank you. No, that's it. And my son got a sleeping bag. Another thing that I thought it was hysterical because this kid took the sleeping bag and Saturday night he didn't sleep in it. Last night he slept in it. And but what was interesting about it is that he, a 9-year-old's like, well, this is a 20-degree bag, and my other bag's not a 20-degree bag, and so this will be better for camping in cold weather. So I thought it just cracked me up that he actually was up there looking at it and discerning and deciding, well, which item to take out of the raffle. So again, that cracked me up. I was grateful I got a lot done on the boat. Floor's in, so. We might get a splash in the next couple of weekends and see how that goes. So,
covered the snow first.
Yeah.
Splash.
So we're gonna go on. I'm just not seeing it, Mother Nature. You've been
I'm saying it's gonna be like a rain mix.
So you're going with the rain mix.
As the day goes on tomorrow, and then between Tuesday and Wednesday, I think somewhere in that area.
Yeah, we'll see. So what are you calling?
6 inches.
You're calling 6 inches. I'm calling nothing.
I was looking at a couple of different models. And some are saying like to the edge we're nothing. Some are saying 3. Some are saying like 6-8. It was mainly like more Maryland, Virginia.
Yeah, I'm not. It's gonna miss York. It's gonna miss.
It always has.
It's not. I think she can't read a map.
Maybe I should just jinx it. It'll happen.
Yeah, Devin just jinxed it. He said it's not gonna happen. So. Yeah. So labels, right? We as a society need to stop labeling things because I think it also gets us into the victim mentality. Like and start seeing people as people, and not by race or color or political affiliation or whatever. Because I think what I'm noticing in the people I've been hanging out with for the past couple of days is like you can have some true discord or have some competing ideas and you can have real conversations about it. But as soon as you label somebody a Republican or a Democrat, and I'm just picking on that because that's always in the news, then everything gets polarized. And if we can see people as individuals that are put here by God, then it's I think we all can get along a little better. Let's see, what else do we got? That was my big rant for the day. Big rant. So, we've launched our social media stuff. We've got a couple great meetings this week on that. I got invited to do some customer service training, so that's exciting. I'm excited about that. And things are going along. So a lot of great meetings this week. I'm getting to go down to the SCORE district meeting later this week to rub some elbows with some fellow mentors at Susquehanna for our chapter, representing the Susquehanna SCORE chapter. And it's just packed. So it's Monday, so I'd be remiss if I didn't say, did you plan your week this week? Did you look at the big rocks, as Franklin Covey would say? And I guess not. I guess Covey, Stephen Covey. I always get it confused with the company he has. And I'm looking outside, and I'm just not seeing it. I'm seeing a bright, sunshiny day out. 52 degrees out. Pretty sure if it does snow, it's not going to stick.
That's what I think. It's gonna transition. Tomorrow it's gonna be iffy, and then
Mother Nature knows we're prepared here. So with that, I think we're gonna wrap it up for today. Plan your week, okay? Get it planned, and then look at what you got executed on Friday. Say, did you get it done? Did you get the important things done? And score your week. So we'll be pressing the net button a little bit later this week. Make sure everybody's on track. Have a wonderful week. Tim Fives, Live with Fives. We're out.